Do you ever have one of those days where you just feel like everything that can go wrong is going wrong? And just no matter what you do, it keeps getting worse. Well, that's Saturday for me this week. For a bit of quick background at the start, I wanted to stream on Saturday. First off, I woke up in the middle of the night after a couple of hours sleep, struggled to get back, so I was a bit tired and a bit late starting the stream. Then when it started up, I had, for the first 2 hours, severe internet problems. It would seem like it was behaving, and then suddenly, just as I was getting into the game, huge ping spike, everything goes away, very unwatchable, it's just all horrible. And then when I finally sorted out my internet, my OBS crashed. For those who don't know, OBS is the program that you use to record various things. It's what I use to stream, it's what I use to record my gameplay. And up to that point, my games had been going alright, even though everything else had been going wrong. And I'd been remembering to record. But when OBS crashed, I forgot to restart the recording. And so I'm left having to do this once again, and that is using the replay system, which, well, not exactly my favourite thing in War Thunder. I'm glad it exists, don't get me wrong, but oh, it could be so much better. This game, while I was playing it, felt like my karma. It felt like my payoff for all the bad in the morning. That is, until I got to the end and realised I had no recording of it. But we're here now, and I've talked my way through the opening drive to one of my more favoured spots on this map. As you can see, I'm in 4.7 US, starting with the 76 Sherman, the M4A1. This is a full down tier, so I do have a bit of an advantage there. And for this one, I've decided to turn markers off once again so that you can see a bit more of the spotting. To try and work out what is an ally, you'll just have to use your keen identification skills or pay attention to the minimap, I'm afraid. But first target is spotted and quickly dispatched. That's Panzer IV up on the hill. Now his name there is Jimmy Young. Remember that name? Got another Panzer IV slipping up here. Shot through his engine into the main crew compartment and detonate. Target number 3, they're coming thick and fast. That's hull break through the engine on flak bus. Number 4, T-50. And that's very almost an ace already, and I've barely been in this position for just over a minute. Now I love this 76mm gun. Honestly, it works so well. It can kill virtually anything you can see very easily. The only things you really struggle with are things like the IS-1, which it's less of a struggle and more of a reliability problem with the IS's armour. Some games you can knock them out, you know, far across the map, and others you will bounce at point blank range. But when it works, it really works. Now that's kill number 5, and there goes someone else in the background. Just clip the rock, but we see another tank up on the hill. That wasn't on target, that actually hit the ground. Mildly splashed him, it was that close, but there we go, that's Jimmy Young down again. I'm very curious why he chose to go straight back to the same location, given what had happened to him in his previous spawn. But this time he brought a KV-1 with him, who have taken out his turret crew. He's not choosing to re-angle or move from his location, he's just staying put, which gives me a follow-up shot. And I've seen some movement in and Shot smoke around there as well. You can see the machine gun coming out, so I know there's another tank nearby. We're just constantly trying to keep an eye out. There he goes. And kill number 8. They're coming very thick and fast. When this gun works, it really works. Now, in my opinion, this is one of the better battle configurations available for some of the maps. The caps are nicely spread apart, they're not too close to the spawns. They do we find a little trouble with the fact that the east side has a town, which makes it a bit harder to defend. You see a lot of people go in there and frequently manage to not encounter the enemy that's in there because there's just too many little streets. And there goes Jimmy Young again. 3 spawns, every single one to the same location, up on a hill. I would have thought he would have stopped, but that's kill number 3 on that target. Kill number 9 overall. And I'm deciding it's about time I moved. Partly because there is an aircraft trying to put large holes in the front of my tank, and partly because the enemy has, as previously mentioned, managed to get through the town without being seen and made it to our capture point. We do have a player in the town, but there is just so many little side streets, so many buildings, so many obstacles. The likelihood is you're not going to run into them unless you stop and guard the bridge. So I'm heading back. I want to go and stop that cap. I'd really rather not lose it in this manner. I can't see anything to shoot from on the ridge. I'm going to have to go down into the cap to stop it. Not that I'm going to make it, because a small posse has just appeared, and we are now on to spawn 2. That's another 3 tanks there managing to get through the town, despite us having a player, say, in the area ourselves. That's what I was talking about with it just being hard to defend on that side. So I do think the other side is slightly better, although I do have that fantastic little ridgeline position that I've been playing so far, which isn't available to the other team, of course. That's the T-34 on the cap. Plant 1 into the back of his turret. APHE doing its job. Taking out all 4 crew. Well, enough crew to kill it. I think it was only 3 of the 4, although it did injure the 4th crew member. So the cap is defended, and I can head back to where I was. We've got somebody recapping it, not necessarily needed, but it is for the best if you've got the time available. Puma lurking off on the side, that's another one who slipped through the town unnoticed. Kill number 11. So we're already onto a pretty damn good game, certainly scoreboard wise. And one of those KV-1s that attacked me before is still around that corner. He's obviously been held up by my allies. T-14 ahead of me. Here the 75mm shot. Turn around for the Stug, and this is a really weird shot. If you see where I was aiming, that was right into the front of the Stug. If you see where the shell marker is, it's right in the front of the Stug. But that X-ray camera showed the shell scraping down the side of the vehicle. I was really intrigued as to how that was a ricochet at the time. Having now seen the X-ray in the replay, it makes a bit more sense. Except for, of course, that shell impact. But shell impacts are on your, or at least the markers for them are client side. There's also just a little bit of desync or lag there between client and server. But just missed out on that kill, unfortunately. That would have been number 12. But still on a very good game, and I'm going to go back to my previous position. It worked out for me, other than defending the town, of course, but as already mentioned, there's not too much I can do about that unless I plant myself at the end of the bridge. So I'm going to go over here. It's got great vision across the rest of the map. I'm in a very, very good armoured tank, especially given this is a full down tier. I can just take a commanding spot and shoot anything that moves into the open. I'll try and shoot anything that moves into the open. Little delayed with that shot, just didn't quite lead him far enough. He's not the only thing over there, obviously something is firing his machine gun up, so I know there's at least 2 targets in that direction. So let's park. Nice position where my lower sides are covered. And just start cursing at the general lack of precision with my latest few rounds. It's a friendly chaffee, I think, in the distance. Now, pretty much, I'm just sitting looking for either the telltale signs of gun smoke, of someone nearby firing, or looking for that sort of black shape of a tank's slightly silhouetted against the sand. I know that Panzer III is still there. He can't have moved away without me seeing him. I do have an ally taking shots at him, so he's likely just trying to hunker down. I'm going to move a bit further along the ridge so that I can see that central area a bit better. He's looking my way, so quick backup. Let's turn and get the armor pointed towards him. If nothing else, suppression through fear. Keep him from firing back at anyone, and eventually we can take him out. Just a couple pixels higher. Just didn't quite make it over that rock. Killing the driver with a shot to the cupola, it really feels wrong. Maybe that's just me, but I feel like that's a bit too much, you know? As the game draws on, of course, there's a few less opponents around, less people spawning. The kills are starting to dry up a bit. They're not coming quite as close together anymore. I did see something slip behind that rock, not entirely sure what it was at the time. I had a suspicion it was a KV, and it does turn out to be a KV-1, so probably not something I would have penned at that range. Find myself missing the 76mm already there. It's certainly not got the armour to match the Jumbo, but the additional firepower makes a very big difference. And it can still be kind of trolly in its own right. That's an interesting spot. I've never seen anybody go up there before. Not exactly stealthy, and not exactly providing him with any cover either. But we're going to push up. Allied T-14 is starting to head towards the enemy spawn. I'm pretty sure we've taken control of the majority of the map. Most of the team is now into anti-aircraft guns. Not ideal. We're going to start pushing up, start trying to thin out their numbers further, cut off a few of their respawners. I'd rather not win this via the objective, personally, at least. The objective for me in battle mode is more of a last resort. I do very much like battle mode. In fact, I kind of wish it was the standard, because it allows me to put up more of a personal defense. In domination, I can't really run around defending multiple caps. But here, lets me cover the cap. Doesn't mean I'm going to try and cap it myself, though. We all know already my experience with how frequently bombs like to fall on me every time I touch a capture point. Making that capture point take 2 to 3 minutes, it's not going to go very well for me. So instead I'm going to come over here, try and support my ally, and as I said, thin out those numbers. There's T-34 shooting him in the back. Just a little too slow to get there. And this is where I start to make a few mistakes, really. I wasn't certain if that guy had seen me, but seeing as he didn't re-emerge from this rock, I figured he probably knows I'm coming. He's probably noticed me in third person by now. And given this is my alt account, my jumbo is not spaded out, I don't have mobility upgrades. It's going to be a bit of a pain trying to fight in close quarters. If I don't get that disabling shot straight away, he will get around my flank and I've lost it. But unfortunately, there's now 3 more opponents turned up, so we'll put a shot into the Panzer IV-J, try and hit the driver's hatch on the KV, and then it all goes horribly wrong. I went for the ram to try and stop that KV from getting around me. You know, run head on, stop him from moving, keep my front pointed that way, but I didn't clip him properly, and it spun me a full 90 degrees, so that's a dead jumbo. KVs are an utter nightmare to bring down quickly with the short 75. Oh, we're back in the M6 now. I picked up another kill in the meantime, although I haven't actually fired at anyone. It's the Panzer IV-J that I shot in the turret during that last encounter. I'm assuming it was stock as he J'd out or fired with a damaged breach. Either way, I gained the kill for him. I'm back now, just trying to find those people who took my life. That's 2 Stugs down, one by me, one by my ally. And I can hear a bit of commotion over at the B point, so I'm heading that way. I can either attack from the left or from the right around this rock. If I go in from the right, I should be arriving in the enemy's rear, but I will also have my back fully exposed to their spawn. If I go in from the left, I'm in slightly more cover. Not much, but there is some. It's also the quicker route to try and help out my ally in the Crusader AA. That's T-34 gone. Another Panzer IV-J. And this KV, whose entire tactic seems to be to charge me down. It's the same thing he did to my jumbo. He's just charging straight for me. And the Panzer IV-J, coincidentally, is actually one of my viewers. I recognise the name. Well, he probably doesn't recognise me as I said, this is an alt account. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. We're up to 19 kills now. I've got an ally on the cap who I'd like to keep alive if I can. The rest of my team is on the other side of the map in respawn, so it's pretty much up to me. Well, I'm really hoping the enemy is getting short on vehicles now. I'll take up position here. It's a decent spot for defending this. I'm mostly covered by this little sand dune. I can back up if needed, but I can still see them approaching. I do wish the replay matched up a little better with the live footage. The smoke still completely obscuring my vision in the replay. In live I had a bit better vision on him. That Wirbelwind. I feel like that Stug was slightly deprived. He hit my track wheel, or hit my track, and it just turned it red. It didn't pen. If he'd gone a bit higher, he would have gone through the angled sort of cheek there on my hull and probably one-shot me. I at least would have expected a track break on that shot. That's 22. I think just about matching the best games I've had in the past, although with slightly more vehicles. I think my best has been 22 and a plane with 2 spawns. So at this stage I'm pretty pleased with it, and I was even more pleased when I thought I was recording. It's been a real good action-packed game, and I'm very pleased with the result, as you can probably imagine. But we've almost capped, and there's only 2 left, so I wasn't expecting to see anything here. I thought they'd both be in planes, just trucking up the hill, hoping for any last scrap I can get before the battle ends. Didn't quite hit the engine on the flak bus for the hull break, but the Coax 37 finished him off. There is an AA down there. I'm not going to get to shoot him in time. Not with that big rock in the way. That was my rear track wheel this T-34 hit. Quick spin. No time to aim. Just take the shot. That's 24 kills. And the end of the battle. And with that, I don't think there's too much more to say. I earned myself a camo and a decent amount of RP and Lions, considering no premium account and no premium tanks. Managed to clean up, not including planes, I managed to clean up exactly the same amount of vehicles as the rest of the team combined, so I can't really complain about that. Just wish I'd managed to get it on a proper video, but that seems to be quite a consistent problem for me, doesn't it? Hopefully this hasn't been too much of a play-by-play. I'll try and give insights where I can into why I made the decisions or how I feel about the various vehicles. But in the meantime, that is all. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.